Hello campers and welcome to another STEAM Camp video. I'm Misz Wisz and I'm very excited because today we're going to be focusing on the S in STEAM, which stands for science. That's right, it stands for science. Now there are many different fields in science, and there's botany, which is the study of plants, and you can have meteorology, which is the study of like the climate, the clouds, and the weather. And today we're going to focus on chemistry, which is the study of how materials react or combine with each other. So we're going to be making something very cool. How many of you have ever seen the Volcano Experiment? Right, you put in some baking soda, you add some vinegar, and it goes when it bubbles up. Well, today we're doing the same thing, but it's going to be a delayed reaction by using that baking soda and citric acid, which is not a liquid like the vinegar is, it's a powder. What will happen is we make something, and then when you add the water to it, then the reaction will happen. So it's kind of like you can control the reaction a little bit better today. So how many of you like to take baths? And it's kind of fun when the bath has bubbles or fizzes a little bit. So that's what we're making today. We're making Bath Fizzers. So we need a lot of ingredients or materials to make this science experiment work. So some of these you may have at your house. We're going to need baking soda, and we're going to need cornstarch. And we're going to need something called epsom salt. These are kind of common materials that you might have in your house. I'm going to set these back aside because I have even more materials that we're going to need. We're going to need something called citric acid. This is kind of special. You might have it if your family does a lot of canning, preserving. Citric acid is that kind of tart thing, substance that is on the outside of gummy worms sometimes, those sweet tart things like that. It can come in a container like this, it can come in a container like this. So there's lots of different ways to get the citric acid. So those are our dry ingredients. We also need wet ingredients or materials. So you're going to need some type of oil. I'm going to be using olive oil today, but you could also use baby oil or mineral oil. All right, you're going to need some food coloring. I'm going to choose green. You're going to need an essential oil. I'm choosing lavender because I like that soothing scent in my Bath Fizzers. And you're just going to need some water. All right. So again, that was baking soda, citric acid, epsom salt, cornstarch, water, some sort of oil, baby oil, olive oil, mineral oil, the essential oil to make it smell, food coloring to give it so it's not just white, okay, and the water. So let's get ready to combine these ingredients. I need to have, you're gonna see the white paper float around because I need to make sure, this is like cooking. Science is a lot like cooking because cooking is kind of a science. You need to make sure your materials are measured precisely, because what happens if you don't put enough flour in your cake? Cake doesn't turn out very good, does it? So it's the same thing. If we don't use the exact measurements in this, our Bath Fizzers aren't going to turn out very good. So get everything over here, and I just lost my measuring cup, which I just have here, and I'm going to use this one. Luckily, I have more than one. Oh, it's in the bowl, Misz Wisz. It's in the bowl. Oh, what else you're going to need? You're going to need a measuring cup. You're going to need 2 bowls, one for the dry ingredients and one for the wet ingredients. All right, and then you're going to need measuring spoons. So measuring cup, measuring spoons, and 2 bowls. That's what else you need. Misz Wisz likes to use the 1/4 cup measuring cup, because then I only have to use 1 measuring cup when I use the dry, because all of my ingredients here are all based on 1/4 cups, right? So the first thing we need is the baking soda, and I'm going to need 1 cup of baking soda, right? So again, Misz Wisz is using the 1/4 cup, which means it is 1 of 4 scoops I'm going to need to make a full cup. I need 4 of these to make a full cup. So scoop it, and you'll see me press against the side of the thing. That's so it kind of gets nice and flat against the side. So there's 1, 2. Misz Wisz said you need 4. We need 2 more. 3, 4. So the first step is to combine all of the dry ingredients in one bowl, except for the citric acid. All right, so that was, start combining. So first of all, we had the 1 cup of the baking soda. Now we need a 1/2 cup of the cornstarch. So this is a 1/4 cup. We now need 2 of these to make a 1/2. 2 quarters make a 1/2. Cornstarch is a little, sometimes it's a little powdery. So there's 1. See the little powder dust fly up. There's 2 of that. Ooh. Right, now I'm starting to get messy. Cooking, sometimes science is a little messy. Okay, and then of the salt, the epsom salt, you need a 1/4 cup. Well, that's easy because that's how many that's how many I have right here. That's my little oh, I'm sorry, making the table jiggle because this epsom salt is really hard. Loosen it up a little bit so I get a nice 1/4 cup scooper. Must not have used this for a while. There it is, 1/4 cup. That's all I need. All right, and the citric acid to be added later. So I have an extra container to put the citric acid in because I only like to measure once. And I have a 1/2 cup of citric acid. This is a brand new one. I must admit that Misz Wisz did not have this at home. She had to get this special for this experiment. So again, it might not be something you have at home either. Misz Wisz wasn't expecting this to be so hard to open. Oh, I need a grown-up to help me. Where's that grown-up? There he is. Okay, I got it open. So this is supposed to be a 1/2 cup of citric acid. That means I'm gonna need 1, 2. That's 1/2 cup. Okay. 1/2 cup of citric acid. All right, so let's go over that again. You need a cup of baking soda. You need a 1/2 cup of citric acid. You need a 1/4 cup of epsom salt. You need a 1/2 cup of cornstarch. All right, so now you're supposed to blend everything but the citric acid. I'm going to leave citric acid right over here so you can see it. So you can see I haven't added it. But now I need to mix together all the dry ingredients. Misz Wisz has a trick, so I can only get 1 spoon dirty. I sometimes use, since this is all dry, so I know it's not going to be slippery, I use the handle part of the spoon to stir the dry ingredients first. Got some big chunks, so let's break those chunky down. Okay, so there we go. So that's all mixed together. Spoon down, and now we're going to mix the wet ingredients. Now, we're not going to have a lot of wet ingredients. It's actually, I'm very surprised at how few ingredients we do. So just like Misz Wisz likes to use the 1/4 cup to measure dry, I like to use the 1/4 teaspoon to measure wet. That's the little itty bitty one here. So the first thing we do is 3/4 of a teaspoon of water. So that means 3 of these. So there is 1, 2, 3. Well, that's not very much water at all. When I made this the first time, I was like, well, how is this very little bit of water going to make this ingredient? I don't know. All right, so now I need some of that oil. So now I have a choice of using the little one to use 4 or the big one. So I'm going to use the bigger one, cheat, because the oil is a little bit of a slippery mess. All right, so I need 2 teaspoons. All right, this is my teaspoon one. And this is the oil. So I'm going to pour my oil into my teaspoon all the way up to the edge. Very good. Add it to my water. That was one. I'm going to pour my oil all the way up to the edge and add the water. Two. Okay, I'm all done with that. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Don't need to mix that anymore. I now need 10 drops of the smelly oil. This is tricky when they have these little bottles. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and one extra one because I'm not sure if I really did that or not. All right, so there's 10 of that. Now the color, the green color. So right now I kind of can't see in the bottom of my bowl. It's got a light green color. That's because of the olive oil. But now when I add this, it should get to be a bright, exciting green color. All right, there we go. Let's make it green. I did it the other day and it wasn't green enough. You'll see a sample what I made the other day here at the very end. So now this is one of the most important things. We have to make sure this gets mixed really, really good. And because we use the green food coloring, we're going to be able to see, and get it up here a little bit higher so you can see it off the black table. You can kind of see it getting greener in my bowl as I mix all my oil and that little bit of water and the color all together. So I'm having this green. Let's be a little bit more. It's very spotty and dotty. So this is very important. If I don't mix this together well, especially because oil and water does not like to mix together. Maybe you've seen that before with dressing. Eat salad dressing. Sometimes you'll notice the oil and the vinegar don't mix together. Same thing, oil and water don't like to mix together well. It's going to make it hard to combine in our ingredients with the dry stuff. So the day when I mixed it, I felt I mixed it much better than I'm doing today. Okay, I'm going to turn the page of my instructions even though I know what I'm doing next, just so I can make sure I do it. So I now take the wet, which is green, and I'm going to add it to the bowl that has the dry. Still not time for the citric acid, just leave it sitting over there. All right, so Misz Wisz is going to take the bowl, and I'm going to try to scrape everything I can out of here because, again, there's not much water. There's not much oil. There's just not much of anything. I'm going to scoop it all down, and we're going to pour it into the dry bowl. Nicely done. Put it off to the side. All right. We're going to get dirty now. So Misz Wisz has a towel because the best way to mix everything is with your hands. I know it's going to feel a little weird. So let's start by grabbing the dry ingredients first. All right. So Misz Wisz is pulling the dry ingredients up. I flew some out of the bowl. And now I'm going to start mixing with the green liquid. And I'm kind of squishing it together in my hands like this. Kind of squishing it together like that. Let me lift it up here. You can see how I'm getting a little bit of green chunks in there. All right. Again, when I did this the other day, I was like going, there's no way all of this baking soda and epsom starch and cornstarch are all going to turn green. It can't be, there wasn't enough color. But I sat here and I worked it and I worked it and I worked it, and it does turn green. Let me show you again. See, I've got a little green tinge happening to it. It's not quite as white as it was. Okay, trying to mix it all together. Powdery in here. Starting to smell very lavendery. I guess I added enough smelly stuff. It's starting to turn green, so I must have added enough green color. All right. All right, so see? No more white. It's not white anymore. Oh, I just flipped it again. Right, so now we're going to add the citric acid in. There's a possibility that when you add this, a little bit of wetness that you have in here, it may start reacting with it. It's okay. If you feel a little fizzy, it feels a little bit different than what it's been feeling like with that. That's just part of what we need to do to make this work. So we're now going to add the citric acid. That seems like so much. I'll make it all green again. I don't feel much fizzies. Either my hands are all numb to it or something's going on. That didn't take very long to mix in at all. All right, now we get to make the actual Bath Fizzers. All right, I'm gonna set this off to the side because I don't need that now. All right, so Misz Wisz, when she first tried this at home, she tried this little cup. I'm going to try it again to see if this batch works any better, because you need a mold. You have to put this into something, because you're not just going to throw this in your bathtub. That doesn't work. That's way too much, and it needs to dry. So you need to have a mold. So Misz Wisz is going to try her little, this was a lid to a jar that I had laying around the house, the cupboard. So I decided to take that, and I don't think what I did before is I don't know if I packed it down well enough. So that's how come we're going to try it again. And what you need is a flat surface covered in plastic. That Misz Wisz also learned, because I didn't cover my surface in plastic, and when I went to try to take my finished bath bomb out, it stuck to the cookie sheet. Oh, not good, because then it broke. And so now I have lots of broken bath bombs. So let's go ahead and try this. Now pack it down really, really tight, 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 pack. And then I'm going to flip it over here and put it on the plastic. Tap, tap, tap. Didn't work again. As you can see, Misz Wiz's bath bomb is in pieces. Bath Fizzer did not work. All right, so what I found out that did work for some reason is this other measuring cup I have. See, it's all nice and smooth. There's no bumpy edges. And I found out that when I used this measuring cup and I pack it down really, really tight, see, there's not enough now. Pack it down really, really tight, nice and tight. Look at, I've got stuff all over my hands. Pack it down really, really tight. And this time, when I pack it down just as tight as you can, and I flip it and I tap it. Ah, that one also messed up. No, I don't know. Let's try it again. We haven't got it yet. Let's try it one more time. One more time. Misz Wisz, you can do it. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can do it. Yes, we can. Sticking to the thing. Oh, man. All right. All this back in, and we're going to just keep trying. So somewhere at your house, you might have a container that's going to work better. Maybe you actually have a mold for cookies or jelly or something like that that can work. So meanwhile, let me show you what I made before. Again, this is my metal tray that I had at home. And you can see these are the ones Misz Wisz made with a lid. And they were just messy, 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 messy. So then Misz Wisz tried the cup. And you can see they held up a lot better, right? But then they were sticking to the tray. So Misz Wisz tries to, yeah, I'm gonna try this one here. Ugh. So there it is. There's the Bath Fizzer I have. It's not perfectly round. This is my perfectly round one right there. I'm not gonna mess with that, but there. You can see how it turned out. But again, because it's stuck to the tray, I lost part of it. You can see what I did. I scooped up some of this and these awful ones here and made the better ones using my scooper. So that's what they're going to turn out. So hopefully you have a mold or a plastic cup like Misz Wisz, because it did work with the plastic cup, but just not working today, because sometimes science does that. Sometimes science doesn't do that when you want to. So now we're going to have some fun. So what Misz Wisz did is I have a container of hot water and a container of cold water. And we're going to put our fizzes in the water and see how it works. We're gonna see if there's a difference between the hot water and the cold water. Oh, so wait. rewind. After you put your Bath Fizzers in the mold, you need to let them sit. The longer they sit, the harder they get. 2 days is the least amount of time. All right, so again, Misz Wisz has had these ones sitting on this other container over here. I think I made them last week and it was warm. And so now we're going to put my fizzers in the water. All right, so we're gonna start with the cold water. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, fizz. Oh, no. It fizzed out of my bottle. Oh, well, I guess that means you better not put too much water in your tub because otherwise it might fizz out of your bathtub. Right? So that's the cold water fizz. That was very cool. Woo! Let's see what happens when we use the hot water. Here we go. Here we go. You ready? The hot water. Oh, it's much fizzier. Can you see the difference? Oh, that's very cool. Much longer. Oh, I wish you could see the top of this. You see how it's bubbling? Can you see that? It's got all sorts of bubbles. I can tell you that the bubbles were not that cool, and it's still, it's taking so long to do it. Hot water, definitely better. So don't take a cold bath, take a hot bath. This is so much cooler. One seemed to react faster. So that's it. That's do it yourself, DIY Bath Fizzers. All right, so there's my little sign here. Let's share with you. If you want to show me pictures of your Bath Fizzers, maybe your mold even, Misz Wisz would love to see that. Be sure to go to @SMCL Libraries, hashtag SMC Library Creates. Let me do that again. @SMC Libraries, hashtag SMCL for San Mateo County Library Creates. All right? You're going to go to that and show me your science experiment mess. It was so much fun. All right? And don't forget to go to summerlearners.org and register for summer learning. You can get the $1,000 scholarship and enter to win that $1,000 scholarship and maybe a book. We hope we can get the books out to you guys soon. Keep track of what you're doing at summerlearners.org, what you're reading, what you're trying for all of our STEAM camp videos. And again, have an adult help you. Go on to social media for @SMC Libraries, hashtag SMCL Creates. Goodbye, everybody. Hope you have as much fun making the Bath Fizzers, doing chemical reactions as I did. Don't worry about making a little bit of a mess, because sometimes that happens when we're doing chemistry, just like we do when we're cooking with chemistry. The trick, I think, is finding a good, what's called a mold to put your Bath Fizzer powder in, so you can have a very cool finished product. So bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining Misz Wisz, and we'll see you on a future video. Bye-bye.